Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Coach Bill with Fat Loss Made Easy. Hope you guys are having a great Monday so far. Today is Monday, and this is my non-fasting day. So I don't do any restricting calories on my non-fasting days. I eat comfortably, and I eat basically when I feel like it, or I'll snack when I feel like it. Now, of course, on my non-fasting days, we're very consistent on keeping our meals at a high good dietary fat, low carb meals. But today I get to have my fat coffee, which is my 3/4. I think I put 2 tablespoons of organic heavy cream in it to give it flavor. My mustache is getting really filling in quite a bit, so I got to make sure I don't have anything in it when I'm talking to you guys. But today's topic came about because of conversations I've been hearing in the gym, and people now, since when I've been doing the intermittent or alternate day fastings for a few years now, people at the gym, we go like to 3 to 4 different gyms just to mix it up a little. People know us now, and they know that we're into alternate day fastings. They know that we do what we call longer fasts as well. And some of them know that the reason why we're doing it is to obviously help to slow premature aging, especially at our age, but we're also doing it to help us gain more lean muscle. And then you guys that follow me know that we are really looking into overall health, and that's where intermittent fasting and prolonged fasting is shown by science, not just to help you lose that belly fat or body fat, but to also help you to have overall health. And so what the topic is muscle pump during a 42-hour fast. And people just don't, they're just blown away when they ask us, when we're doing a longer fast, like when we do a 42-hour fast. What we'll do is we'll fast for 42 hours, and I will not do my interval strength training. I'll do it in a fasted state, which means I'll probably work out at 41 hours, and by the time I'm done, it's about 43 hours into my fast. People are completely blown away by that. They just they just don't see how in the world you're not passing out from low blood sugar. And it's all because they're not educated. They're not educated in what fat adaptation is. They're not educated what ketone adapted means. And so the lack of education is what's causing people to basically be afraid of doing any type of intermittent fasting while they're working out, or longer fast while they're working out, because there's not enough health professionals there's not enough health professionals that even understand the physiology and the biochemistry of not only the high fat, good dietary meals, low carb meal plans, but also intermittent and long fastings, how that reacts to the body. They do not understand. Well, they ask us, do you still get a pump when you're working out? And I say, absolutely. And today we did heavy chest and tries, and both my chest and both my tries, I was pumped the whole time, to a point where on my triceps, I'm so pumped, I almost can't straighten my arm out. And so on my 42-hour fasting, I get the same pump. And they want to know, how in the world does that work? Because most of you probably think or have been told the only way you're going to get a good pump is by eating carbs. That's how you're going to get a pump. And the theory behind that, or what people are saying, is, or what the health professionals or the coach or the personal coach is saying, that you need carbs to be able to convert into glucose, which then is converted into glycogen and stored in the muscle. And when the glucose has been converted, it takes water into the muscle with it to be stored. And that's the only way you're going to get a good pump. And besides, a lot of these weightlifters are saying that in order to get bigger muscles, you need to continually have a pump, and that's just not true. Okay, so for those of you that are skeptics that think that if you're doing a longer fast, say a 24-hour or 36 or a 42, or even an 18-hour fast, you know, if you're not getting a pump right away, that's okay, because you're not quite fat adapted yet, or you're not quite ketone adapted. You will get the pump. Some people get the pump right away, and there's a reason for it. Okay, so first of all, let me read what I found when I looked it up. Okay, so what is a muscle pump? In short, a muscle pump occurs when fluids, including water and blood, accumulated in your muscles during a movement like strength training, mainly strength training. That's what we're talking about. We do interval strength training. So, and even though we're at an older age, we work out very, very hard. This happens in response to two primary triggers. And this is for educational. Lactic acid begins to build up in your working muscles, which you guys have known. Some of you guys give lactic acid a bad rap. It's not, because yes, it does cause metabolic damage to the muscle if you're not hydrating correctly, or if you're not hydrating with the right water that's actually flushing out the metabolic toxins that are created during exercise at the cellular level immediately while you're exercising and immediately after you're done exercising. Hydration plays a huge part. But lactic acid buildup in the muscle can actually be used and reused as energy. So it plays a big part. And it draws water. So what happens is lactic acid draws water into the muscle. So again, lactic acid begins to build up in your working muscles and draws water into them. That's the feeling of the pump. Your heart pumps more blood to your working muscles because they need more oxygen and nutrients to power them. Okay, so there's the second one. Now the second one is, I think, where the confusion is where they talk about nutrients, and what they're meaning is carbohydrates or glucose is what they're talking about, but that's not what they're saying, because if you look up muscle pump, there's nothing in there that says that carbohydrates specifically causes muscle pump. Now obviously if you're eating carbs, that also will contribute to muscle pumps, because carbs are converted into glucose, and glucose is then converted into glycogen. Then glycogen goes in the muscle carrying the water and gives you a pump. But why do people say you can only get good muscle pump if you eat carbs? Because that's what they were told. They were told that. So when somebody comes up to me and says, Bill, I mean, I know you do longer fastings, and we've been watching you and your wife, and you guys work out very hard, and you seem to be improving all the time, and obviously something's working because of the way you guys look. And I tell them, I said it's really your body is super smart. You know, your body is not going to let you starve to death. So get that out of your mind, guys. Don't be intimidated by doing intermittent fasting or a longer fast, thinking you're going to starve to death, or thinking you're going to eat muscles up. No, if you're doing alternate day fasting, you're giving your body enough calories on those non-fasting days, and hopefully you're eating enough protein. If you're older like us and you're looking to add lean muscle, you have to eat more protein than the younger counterpart, and there's a reason for that. You know, age falls there. Age falls into that reason. I'm older. We are older. We don't metabolize protein like we used to. So don't let anybody tell you you're eating too much. It would take you so much protein per sitting to cause you to damage or to overwork your kidneys that you're not going to be able to eat that much food. that much protein in one sitting. It's just not going to happen, guys. So don't be afraid of that. But the reason why certain people carb load are, now this is why people carb load, and this is probably why some people think that you have to carb load in order to get that muscle pump. And I took this off of the internet also. The reason certain people carb load are either because they want to build up stores of glycogen so they can use this extra energy to store to help improve endurance. So that means, so let's not talk about cardio. Let's just talk about weight training. So what they're saying, what they're saying here is that in order to have endurance and say make it through your workout, if you're working out for an hour, hour and a half, or 2 hours weight training, you have to carb load. And that's not true, because I'm doing a 42-hour fast. And I'm working out at 42 hours, 41 hours. And I've probably done it for 43 hours. So I didn't carb load the night before. I never do. My last meal the night before I fast, 42 hours, is going to be higher good dietary fat and low carbs. Now, on my 42-hour fast the following day, I have to make sure that the meal the night before, I'm consuming enough protein and enough good dietary fat. And what do I mean by good dietary fat? Well, it could be olive oil, it could be MCT oil, it could be an avocado, it could be a few nuts in my salad, balsamic vinegar or balsamic vinegar salad dressings, a good piece of red meat that has some good fat in it, anything that's a dietary fat, okay? I have to make sure I'm having enough of it. I always do a tablespoon of a good source of olive oil. You guys you have to know that there's not all olive oil is the same, so you got to make sure you're buying a good source of olive oil. So now, taking into the effect that people are saying you have to carb load to be able to get a pump, let's see what it says about protein. So protein is what rebuilds and repairs the muscles, but also primes the pump. It didn't say carbohydrates. It said protein is what rebuilds and repairs, but also primes the pump to make the right amino acids available for your muscles. Getting protein into your system is even more vital when you're done working out. Protein, not carbs. So when I'm fasting, I'm doing a longer fast. If I'm doing a 24-hour fast or a 36-hour fast or a 42-hour fast, I always break my fast with some kind of good source of protein. Just like today, I had some pasture-raised, grass-finished chicken breast, about 4 to 5 ounces. That's what I broke my fast with. That's what I ate after I exercised. And then about 12:30 or 1 o'clock today, I'm going to have a good source of protein drink, which I do bone broth and collagen powder. I put chia seed in it. I put half a cup of my homemade kefir and almond milk with a tablespoon of olive oil. And that's going to be another meal I'm going to break my fast with. So I'm going to put probably a half a cup of fresh spinach in there and grind it up with the protein drink, and that's my carbs. But I didn't put any fruit in there, and I didn't put any starches in there, right? Okay, so protein is what's going to add the lean muscle, guys, for us old folks and for anybody at any age. So we got to focus on that. Now, what else did it say? When you eat protein, you will get, this is how it works. When you're eating protein, okay, let's break it down into 3 parts first. Starchy, ultra-processed carbohydrates will elevate a fat storage hormone to be too high. Protein elevates the hormone insulin slightly. And good dietary fats even elevates insulin, which is your fat storing hormone, even less, or you can't even detect it. But you have to have insulin in order to get the nutrients from the protein into the muscle cells. You have to. But the carbohydrates, because it spikes so high, your cell becomes overloaded. Excess glucose that you haven't used as energy is then dumped back into the blood and used and stored as fat. That's how it all works. Okay? So, why am I still getting a pump when I have not eaten any calories for 42 hours? Your body has a safety mechanism. See, you have to understand that your brain has to have glucose in order to function. And there's other parts of the body that needs glucose also. Okay, so if I haven't had any calories for 42 hours or 43 hours, I'm talking no calories. A true fast. I've depleted all the glucose in my liver hours ago. I completely depleted it probably at 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the morning the night before, or the right after the meal I had last night. And so around 12:30 or 1 o'clock, I'm in fat adaptation the whole time. So you figure tomorrow I'm going to be doing my 42-hour fast. So my last meal today is going to be at 6 o'clock. I won't have any calories until probably 11 o'clock on Wednesday morning after I train. Well, if the brain needs glucose and certain organs need it, and I'm not eating any carbohydrates for 42 to 43 hours, well, where's the glucose going to be coming from? This goes back to our ancestors and why our ancestors were able to hunt even after not having any food for 3 or 4 days, looking for their food, and they still had enough energy to chase down their food. And this is why you guys should not be intimidated by doing intermittent fasting or a prolonged fast, because your body has a safety mechanism known as gluconeogenesis. Well, what is gluconeogenesis? Okay, I took this right out of the text. The process of making glucose, sugar, from its own breakdown products or from the breakdown of products of lipids, your own fat, or proteins that you have floating around in your body. Gluconeogenesis occurs mainly in the cells of the liver or kidneys. That's the safety mechanism our ancestors used often when they were out hunting for food. So how does this relate to muscle pump during a 42-hour fast? Well, nowhere in there in the studies is it saying you have to have carbohydrates in order to get a pump. Nowhere it says that. What it does says that you do need to have glycogen in the muscle. Well, gluconeogenesis is when the body has ran out of glucose because you haven't eaten for 42 hours. You got plenty of crappy, used up old protein particles floating around in your body, in your brain. You know, look up dementia and Alzheimer's, and you might be surprised what's floating around in their brains. Whatever, all your damaged cells, that your rotten cells or your damaged cells that are floating around, the body goes after that. And then your own stored fat. It will take your own stored fat, that's what you want to do, right? And convert that, it'll go into the liver and be converted into glucose. And then glucose is converted into glycogen. And that's why when we do a fast, we hydrate a lot. We drink about 1 gallon to 1.5 gallons a day. When we're doing a 42-hour fast, we make sure we're getting over a gallon of water a day, because your kidneys are flushing out a lot of water during your fasting time, and you're depleting your body of minerals and electrolytes. So we have to continually drink a lot of water with our pink Himalayan sea salt in order to replenish the water we are eliminating out of our kidneys. But what happens is when the body runs out of the carbohydrates and then needs to put some glucose and glycogen in that muscle, it takes what body fat I have, converts it into glucose, then converts it into glycogen, and then takes water with it into my muscles. Just like it says here. In short, a muscle pump occurs when fluids, including water and blood, so you have plenty of water in your body, and you better have plenty of blood, accumulate in your muscles during movement. Nothing is there said about you have to have carbohydrates in order to get a muscle pump. Guys, that's my explanation on why Emily and I are able to still get a good, hard muscle pump when we're strength training, when we're doing our interval strength training, even at our age. Because our body is in the most healthiest environment you can possibly put it in, and all the mechanisms that are being used to add lean muscles are working efficiently. And the number one safety valve when you haven't eaten for hours is activated and is now functioning efficiently. So hope you guys, hope this explains how important it is to understand how education means a lot when it comes to the physiology of the body, and when it comes to the biochemistry of the body, and how different foods and different eating times work in the body to put it in its most healthiest environment, especially for those of you that are 40, 50, 60, 70 or above. Okay? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys at the next video. Have a good one. Bye.